Hey everybody, it's Norm from Tested, and today I have a quick show and tell for you with a new model making tool I've been using for the past couple of weeks. This is called the Ultimation sander. It's from Ultimation, a Canadian-based model making company. They make tools for people doing scale model train sets, doll houses, miniatures, and they sent this disc sander for us to check out. Now, what's interesting about this disc sander from something you may have seen like this is that this is a hand power. It's a manual disc sander versus the kind of small motorized disc sanders that you might find in a place like Micromark. This one actually we borrowed from Adam. So, first of all, this type of motorized disc sander you can get for relatively cheap these days, like used well under $100, new maybe in that $100, $150. They're a little noisy, they're nice and powerful, and they take down material really quickly. Whether it's wood, resin, they're workhorses for model making. But the folks at Ultimation wanted something that they considered to be more precise, or something that maybe would not need the high speed and power of a motorized disc sander. So when working on, for example, I have a small resin kit here. This one's from our friend at Machination Studio, one of the Michael Singh's codenamed Colossus line. Is a 1/35th scale model, something that we've put together in the past. You might get a resin kit that has some flashing, some of the extra bits of sprues from the casting process. And you could take this down, and I could take this down with, first of all, I'd snip off some of the pieces. So very easy to pop that off. And if I wanted to take this down with the motorized disc sander, I could. Really quickly, right? Like that just took all of that down super fast. You have to be a little careful though, because it can sometimes take off more material than you want. But if you need something lower RPM, I guess that's what this is for. So we'll start off with our balsa stick again. Now you can adjust to any different angles, but we'll use the edge here just for a straight 90 degrees. Hold it, and right now I have a 120 grit sandpaper here, and it carefully grinds off that material. It's gonna be work much slower than that motorized sander, but theoretically more precise. So it's gonna be easier on my hands than using like an emery board, which I would otherwise be using to take off material, a filer. But if you're working with soft materials and you need to create like a gentle curve in something, something a little more precise, you can use this manual disc sander. So for example, you can also hold the edge of the rubber here, and let's have this done at a specific angle. So I can lock that in at about 60 degrees, and then I can just shave off a little bit of material or use the handle here. So yes, it's manual. I do think that also means that you lose the ability to use both your hands, right, to make those contours. But it's interesting. So we're gonna go assemble this resin kit. I'm gonna cut off some of these big flashing pieces with our nippers first. I'm gonna then get it cleaned up using the manual disc sander, and I'll try a little bit of an A/B test just to see how I feel about using a motorized disc sander versus the manual one. All right, so really quick and easy assembly of this 1/35th scale model kit, this resin kit, allowed me to try the Ultimation sander on just flashing on resin. And yeah, it works. I think I would prefer this over using manual like emery board, a stick sander. But if you're working with a lot of parts, or if you're working with a larger kit and you just need to knock out material, or if you're kind of like me and you're impatient, I kind of prefer just going back to a motorized sander. I know it's maybe way more powerful and you do risk knocking off parts of a kit that you don't want to remove. So maybe look into, I know there are lower RPM small disc sanders you can get, or small belt sanders even. Those are a little more pricey. But having a small disc sander, whether it's motorized or if you're doing fine model making with wood, balsa wood, something manual powered, is kind of a key for your workshop, for your home workshop. Let me know what you use to remove the flashing and clean up your model kits before assembly, after you get them off of sprues, or whether they're castings just right out of the mold. Thanks to Ultimation for sending this over for us to check out. And I'll include links below for where you can find this and their other model making tools. That's it for today. I'm Norm from Tested, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Hey guys, Adam Savage from Tested here. If you've ever seen the 6-inch ruler in inches and centimeters on my forearm and wanted one of your own, but you didn't want it to be permanent, well, today's your lucky day. You can now buy temporary tattoos of my measuring stick, my measuring forearm, at tested-store.com. Comes like this, goes on in about 30 seconds with a little water. The instructions are on the back. It comes off with rubbing alcohol, and hopefully it warms you up to the idea of permanently attaching a measuring device to your body, because I use mine every single day.